no smiles.
No smiles.
No.
Round.
No, just a straightforward countenance with a slight frown. We're mad as hell.
My friends.
My countrymen.
Fellow Roman countrymen, yes. Suscipiat Domini sacrificium de manibus tuis ad laudem bonum.
Wow, did you really do that when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Do you still go to Latin masses on Christmas Eve?
And then served them on Christmas Day.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
I was a fully certified.
I'm not surprised. So you were a good kid, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? You didn't do anything bad, did
We
you?
got thrown out of school, but I didn't do
You're
anything
going to have to
bad.
speak closer to the mic. You can't hear us.
Let's go. You tell me when you're ready. Good afternoon. I'm Marshall Kamina, Mayor of the City of Livermore. I'm being joined here by many of my colleagues, mayors, council members, and key staff members of the cities throughout the area. We're here to tell you Proposition 22 is important. Absentee voting has already begun, and in just 3 weeks, Election Day will be here on November the 2nd. We're here today to urge voters to fight back against Sacramento politicians who keep stealing our local tax dollars that are supposed to be funding our vital services. For too long, Sacramento officials and politicians have raided local revenues. Last year, the state took or borrowed $5 billion of local revenues. Here's how it's affected Livermore. Livermore has already made significant cuts. We have eliminated 9 police officers' positions and demoted 3 police officers. We closed a branch library. We reduced the school crossing guard contract. And the state continues to threaten to take more. It's got to stop. And we're fighting back with Proposition 22. By voting yes on Proposition 22, voters can stop Sacramento politicians from raiding local government revenues. Passing Proposition 22 will protect emergency 911 services, response, police, fire, and other police public safety services that keep residents safe. Passing Proposition 22 will protect library services, parks, recreation, and senior services that improve the quality of life. Passing Proposition 22 will improve the local roads we drive on and the public transit system that gets so many working families to work for life's responsibilities. We urge all voters to vote yes on Proposition 22. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Chief.
Good morning. My name is Jim Miguel, and I am the Fire Chief of the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department. And we stand here this morning on a day that has been declared a red flag warning day by the California Department of Forestry, and we also stand in front of Fire Station number 10 in the city of Livermore, which is currently closed due to budget reductions. Ongoing state and federal raids on our money have made it difficult for us to meet the needs of the public. We are up and down the state. We see fire departments being cut due to lack of revenue. We see firefighters being laid off, and fire stations either closed or fire engines browned out. We encourage the citizens of California to support Proposition 22 so that when it comes time for us, for you to need us, that we will be there and be able to provide those vital services to you.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Hosterman. I'm the mayor of Pleasanton, and I'm here as mayor as well as chair of the Alameda County Mayor's Conference, president this year. And I'm here to tell you that the cities in the East Bay are mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore. Sacramento politicians keep digging into our funds, even though the voters of California have repeatedly and overwhelmingly passed ballot measures to stop state raids of local government and transportation funds. But the politicians in Sacramento keep thumbing their noses at the voters by exploiting loopholes in the law to steal government funds. Because of state raids and the economy, we've been forced to make tough cuts all across the East Bay. For instance, in Fremont, there have been massive budget cuts, including 2 fire station closures, reduced response to residential burglar alarms, and a new requirement that residents now be responsible for public trees in the front of their homes. In Concord, for example, officials eliminated 4 sworn officer positions and closed 3 neighborhood police stations, reducing access to local public safety staff. And in my hometown of Pleasanton, the state of California has taken over $100 million in a town of only 70,000 residents since 1992. Prop 22 would close the loopholes and stop state politicians from raiding those funds once and for all. City officials are fighting back against state politicians, and we know the voters will too. We urge you to support Prop 22. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Mr. Tom Blaylock, Director for Bay Area Rapid Transit. Tom.
Thank you, Mayor Hosterman. It's my pleasure to be here this morning, also to point out that BART is affected by the raids on state budget and funds that should normally come to transportation and transit. I'm elected to the southern part of Alameda County, some 16 years now on the BART board, and I'm here in place of John McPartland, who was committed to another event. On August the 12th this year, the BART board, 9 directors from the three Bay Area counties of BART district, voted unanimously to support Proposition 22. The benefits of the public transit brings to each community and region serves to reduce highway congestions, save gasoline, prevent air pollution, emissions, and greenhouse gases, and we help create new livable communities around transit hubs that we like to call transit-oriented development. I'd like to relate a quick anecdote from my 20 years as Public Works Director in Fremont, where I wrestled with gasoline taxes. And I remember Senator John Ferran, when he got a modest increase about 20 years ago in the gasoline tax. And I saw him some years later when I was on the BART board. He said to me, "You know, I was afraid of that measure because of the public reaction to increased taxes." Well, I'm here to tell you, and he told me then, the public gets it. They know that these kinds of funds go toward local roads and the streets and transit and help keep those things running. And over the last 5 years, the budget dilemmas have caused the state to reach into our pockets and take the kinds of fund, the $5 billion that was referred to a minute ago. And we're working with a coalition of folks trying to make sure that that can't continue to happen. For BART, it means in these difficult economic times a reliable infusion of support. If we pass Prop 22, that we would then have a reliable stream of funding, be it so meager, to at least plan for the future. Now I'd like to introduce, well, be sure you vote yes on Proposition 22. I want to introduce my friend and colleague, Nina Moore, who spent a lot of years on the school board, but is now Governmental Relations Director for the Fremont Chamber of Commerce. Nina.
Thanks, Tom. Good morning. As Tom said, I'm the Director of Government and Community Affairs at the Fremont Chamber of Commerce. And our chamber supports Prop 22 because we believe that just as businesses and residents need to live within their budget, so too the state must live within its means and stop borrowing or taking away funds from unwilling lenders. Our local governments provide services that are essential to local businesses and residents: police, fire, good roads, public transit. Businesses expect strong police, fire, and emergency response services. They depend upon good roads, public transit, and a solid infrastructure to ensure their continued success and future growth. Businesses know that quality of life services like parks and libraries and youth programs and senior services are critical to attracting and keeping employees. Unfortunately, funds for these programs have been cut in recent years, largely due to state raids of local funds. Sacramento's continued raids of local transportation and redevelopment funds must end. This is why the Fremont Chamber is proud to join the California Chamber of Commerce, the Bay Area Council, the Livermore Chamber of Commerce, and the Oakland Chamber of Commerce in support of Proposition 22. We urge voters to help us stop the state raid of local funds. Vote yes on 22. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to introduce Kathy Steele-Sabo, Alameda County Libraries.
morning. I'm Kathy Steele-Sabo, Outreach Services for Alameda County Libraries. And just like all my colleagues here that work for the cities, the county, Alameda County, has been hit hard by raids by the state. When we lose our funding, then libraries get hit hard. In the past few years, libraries have had to cut staff, hours, and some libraries have even had to close. It's a tragedy and it's a real loss for all our communities. Libraries are a place for families to go with their children. Libraries are a place for students, a safe place to go after school. Libraries are where students go for after-school homework help. Libraries provide internet access for those looking for jobs and filling out applications online. I urge your support for Prop 22 as support for local library services. And now let me turn the mic over again to our Livermore Mayor.
I think you've seen, ladies and gentlemen, that here we are gathered today pleading with you to consider voting yes on Proposition 22. We would like to be able to have money that was raised locally and intended to be able to stay local and in our budgets to no longer be stolen by the state, balancing the budget of the state on the backs of our local governments. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
That's it.
Clapping is okay.
He's coming out of the grave.
Okay. Miguel Splenda.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I don't make. And then, so it's Thursday afternoon, evening, and then Friday morning up until about 2.
I don't remember, because if I jotted down that we had to close the fire station.
You didn't?
Yeah, I didn't.
Two of them are just, one of them just opened, and the other one hasn't even opened yet. And they're closing the one, they're not, the one in Bay Point is an old station, old station. It's the one that's staying. The new station, a mile and a half from it, is the one they're gonna close, because it's in Pittsburgh.
Okay, Mark. I need to head out.
I'm really glad you came.
Same here, buddy. Yeah, you look great. You too.
And Ed didn't even say anything.
There was a shining moment.
That's it.
They went to, when we did the one in Concord, they did go from Sam, not in San Mateo, there, across the city. Thank you. Yeah.
I gotta head out.
Yeah, me too.
Did you walk?
Did I walk?